Hey everyone, it's Stacy Santiago, and I am here with the wonderful and talented Laura Aiken. Laura and I started coaching together almost 2 years ago, if you can believe that now, Laura.
Wow.
Yes, almost 2 years ago. And she has an amazing career transition story to tell you. And it's going to be inspiring and it's going to give you some real keys to how to actually make change when you don't think that that's possible or you can't see a way forward. So I'm just going to begin and start asking Laura some questions. So Laura, before you started coaching, tell me what was going on in your life and your career. What were the challenges? What kind of pain were you having?
So before you and I started working together, I had been in the insurance industry for over 10 years. And I was just at a point where I was frustrated
Mm.
um, continually for years. And no change was happening. I wasn't getting any momentum. And it was a process that was cyclical. It's for a period of time, I'd be all excited about making change. And
Mm.
I didn't keep that motivation going. I would make excuses about why this is still a good
Yeah.
gig. I'm getting paid well. It's where I should stay. And I would just continue in this cycle where I wasn't making any change. It was just frustrating. And then I also was at a place with my husband as well, where I was leaning on him to be my coach. And
Mm.
he's biased for many reasons, right? My husband, we have two children together, financial stability. He was completely biased in every way imaginable there. And I was leaning on him in ways that he couldn't feel like he could support me, asking him how I should apply my strengths in new roles, how I should really think about my values differently. And he didn't know how he could support me. And that was tough as well. So that's really where I was before you and I started really getting momentum working together.
Yeah, and thank you for sharing that. And that's really important to realize because oftentimes we think, oh, it's just our job and it's just between the job and ourselves, but it affects everybody in your life. It affects your spouse, if you have one, it affects your children, it affects everyone around you. I hear all the time about, well, I don't really go out much or I don't really talk to my friends as much because you don't have anything positive to say. Tell me about
Mhm.
other ways that this was really starting to consume your life in a negative way.
It just kind of became all encompassing where I would just get stressed out and feel um, frustrated with myself that I couldn't just make a change. And, I would talk with my friends all the time. Oh, well, you don't like something, just change it. And then I wasn't leading that truth myself. So then you just kind of get down on yourself and frustrated, well, why not me? Why can't I make that change? And that, isn't good for your health, right? I know when we started working together, I'm a certified yoga instructor as well. And I was getting so frustrated with myself, and I knew it wasn't healthy to be this down on myself without making change, without taking my own advice that I would give my friends. And that being in that place for your health doesn't make me the wife I want to be, the
Yeah.
mother I want to be.
Mhm.
And like you said, it impacts everything in life, and health is wealth. This is the Thanksgiving time of year, and that's something we've all been saying as a family. Health is wealth. And if you
Yeah.
don't feel healthy, then you don't have as much to offer.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's a huge impact in many ways. And oftentimes we don't see it because we get sucked into that positivity trap. Like you were saying, like, oh, well, I get paid well, and this is some stability for us right now. I've been here for 10 years. And you get sucked into that, and it's easy to deny. And then so much time goes by, and you've really lost so much of relationships, your health, and who you are. It's just a tremendous impact there. And what was the point for you where you said, you know what, I can't just sustain this anymore. I know that I've got to get help.
Yeah. I just realized I needed someone to hold me accountable.
Mm-hmm.
And no one else was going to do that. I was trying to put that burden on myself for so long. Like, oh, Laura, you need to hold yourself accountable, and being so hard on myself. And I was realizing, but no change was happening. And I still was dissatisfied. So I knew that if I was working with you, paying you as well, so it's commitment monetarily from my end, and then the commitment of doing the work, I realized I would stick with it. This would make me focus on making the right changes. So it really took a lot to get to that point, to just say, Laura, just do it, jump in and do this. And once I knew I would have your support and that we would be able to work together and that you would hold me accountable and be unbiased. I needed someone unbiased. My husband was very biased. He also is in the insurance industry. So we could talk insurance all day. He could keep me in that industry forever and he'd be happy, right? But I knew you would be that unbiased voice, providing honest feedback when I was, going down the wrong path and really getting negative or maybe pulling away too. I know when we started working together, I had told you that in my job, there was always a certain period of time where I really liked my job. And I had warned you that when I hit that time of year, I'm going to act like I don't want to have another job because this is the time of year I actually don't mind my work. Yeah. And I warned you in advance and I said, but please hold me accountable because I know I still want to continue this journey. And that was always the time of year when I was doing it on my own, I would go backwards and I would say, see, I like my job for those 3 months out of the year. And I needed someone else to just kind of put me back into that reality check of, no, this isn't forever, 3 months isn't enough. You need to be satisfied way, way more than that. Targeting 12 months, right? So I needed that accountability.
Yeah. And I like that you said that too, and you didn't need help and accountability because you were lazy, because you didn't want to do any work. You're totally type A and you're on it and you'll go all in, but you still knew you couldn't do it for yourself. And you weren't going to get accountability. You weren't going to get focus. You weren't going to get an unbiased sounding board by reading books, by reading articles, by talking to your friends. Those are Band-Aids. Those are little threads of advice that is not going to help you change. And you also knew too that if you're going to wait around for the day where you feel totally comfortable and you've got tons of money to invest in yourself, that day is never going to come. You've got to just say, yes, I do not want to stay stuck any longer. I need the help and I'm going for it. And that's awesome because as we're about to hear, you totally sowed your seeds and you have reaped the rewards from taking that leap. So tell me about the biggest things that you discovered as we did all of this work together, because we really covered everything, right? We started from the inside out. We didn't just say, oh, let's fix Laura's resume and let's give her an assessment and pick off the list. That's not what we did. So tell people a little bit about what we went through and the things that you were discovering.
Yeah. So what I enjoyed the most, it was time consuming and, worth every moment of it. Was really the blueprint we created, starting from just identifying values and my interests and really peeling back those layers to bring to the surface more things than I had realized that I'm good at and like and are important to me that I had been pushing by the wayside for some time because I thought, this is a good gig. I should say where I am. So it kind of brought to the surface things that equate to my brilliance, which, you speak of all the time. And those pieces were necessary for me to find focus and for me to find my own brilliance and have the confidence to show that in an interview. So I really needed those pieces and parts to believe myself, to then sell myself into a different job. If I didn't have all those components, I just wouldn't have had the confidence to make the moves that I have. So really those pieces were so key and the values I found really the most insightful because it's changed so much for me over the past 10 years since I started the industry.
Yeah.
I have a family now. I have, different expectations financially. I have different strengths that I've developed over time from the work I've been doing. And I've learned so much through my career. I'm grateful for the career experience I've had, but I've just uncovered so much more about myself that it was important for me to really put all of that down. What are those strengths that I've acquired and what else can I do with these strengths? And then start to shed some light on those and then pair those with my interests to see, well, what else is out there? So that blueprint really was kind of the path to determine where do I go now? And to do that with confidence, I needed those pieces together.
Yes, to see the full picture, to eliminate blind spots and to be able to see undeniable themes and information that was this picture of you, and what it correlated to as far as the best fit direction was just something that it helped you, not just for, oh, the next job that I want, but as we'll talk about here, it keeps on serving you. It's something that allows you to be in the driver's seat and shape your career, up level it for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Cool. Yes. Okay, cool. So tell us about, you're now equipped with this blueprint and your brilliance and all of this work, and you've got this confidence now, and we start to put this into execution. So tell us about how the target started to shape up, what that was, this job that you moved to first out of the insurance industry. How did that come into focus for you? And then what did you do to go and get that?
So I had known for a few years, at least in the back of my mind, that I really had interest in education space. And I realized that in order to really make that change, it would have to be incremental steps, realistically for me. So I realized that if I use some of the current connections I had built throughout my insurance industry, and actually working with a former client of mine as well, I could potentially move into the education management industry, utilizing the skills I had gained within client management. Mm-hmm. So over the past 10 years, I had strong client management experience, and I figured, you know what, that's a transferable skill. And that's something I really like. I like working with clients, working with people. And if I paired that with education and getting the satisfaction of working with individuals, adults in their adult education pursuits, that could be very fulfilling. So I realized that could be a nice stepping stone, and would also allow me to not take a huge leap financially. Financial stability was a value of mine. You know, I do have to support my family as well. So I paired all those values together, realized I could transfer my skills in that direction, and that would be a nice fit for a lot of the must-have criteria that was important to me. So once my mind was made up, I just went for it in every direction possible. I had seen a job that was posted, and then went to everybody in my network to try and, refer me. And then I used a lot of tools that you provided, Stacy, to really seal the deal and show my confidence that this is what I know I want. And that was so instrumental, to the point that the woman who eventually hired me, the VP of the role that I moved into, she said, I remember her sitting back in her chair, and I said, so how do my skills align with what you're ultimately looking for? And she said, Laura, I love that you know what you want, and we would love to have you on our team. And I remember that moment. I was like, that was my work with Stacy. Like, I'm able to exude that confidence of knowing what I wanted in that moment, to the point where she saw it so clearly that she was convinced, okay, Laura's coming from the insurance industry. This is not education management, but she knows that she's ready for this change. This is the type of company she wants to work for. She sees the value in working with us. So this could be a good fit. Because transferring those skills did feel challenging. The insurance industry was not directly correlated.
Yeah.
But bringing in that client management piece and really letting her know, no, I'm ready for this. This is what I want and why, really helped me move. So then I moved to that role, and I was there in that position for a year.
Mm-hmm. Good. So you were extremely strategic, bringing all the tools that we had built for you and employing that into networking and being able to showcase your brilliance, to articulate, communicate. And you really did some cool things. And we'll see this too. I'll talk about it after you tell your next leap too, because it's really neat what you went out there and did. But so basically what Laura did here, guys, is she went from insurance, which was all she did for 10 years. That was her industry. And she went without any additional education or certifications into, I believe, what was your title? Was it account manager?
Client relations director.
Okay, client relations director for an education management services company, right? Totally different. She had never done that before, but through the work that we did, we were able to build her a bridge and equip her with the tools and the strategies to actually open the door and go in there and get it. And we'll pick up here with what Laura's saying. She did this job for a year. So What did you learn over the course of the year? And then how did you start to open up a new door to your next big step?
So what was so exciting, and I just got goosebumps just thinking about what I learned and how I transferred, everything that I learned. I learned that I really wanted to truly support those in the education space. So in the role I was in within client relations, I was working with clients who administered education assistance or tuition reimbursement to their employees.
Mm-hmm.
So it felt really removed from the impact I wanted to make. I was able to work with clients supporting a product that was interesting, but I didn't have the impact really talking with those who were directly impacted by the opportunity to go back and educate themselves. So I was just missing that key component that I knew would be fulfilling to me. So it also clarified a value that was more important to me than I realized, which is that immediate personal touch and impact that it could have on someone. So I realized that. And then I also got exposure, just neurons flying in all new directions, so learning so much when I changed industries. I was also realizing that I was learning so much more about different software roles, like developer roles and other positions in the tech space, that I realized this could be really interesting to support people in these types of roles, which I really wasn't as privy to in the insurance industry. So I was just learning more about the types of people I wanted to support, and how I knew I could make a different impact, that I started to tap more into this side gig that I had for a few years, which was actually teaching career development to college freshmen at my university that I graduated from. And I had been doing it on the side for a few years, and had been asked by the career services team at my university to come in and teach a course every spring semester. And I was realizing that really would be pretty exciting. So I had this door open at this other side gig that I had sustained over time. Sometimes wasn't sure if I should keep it or not, but glad that I did, because I never knew what it could lead up to. And then just through this experience, I realized, wow, no, this is what I really need to focus on. And that would be great. And I'm really learning more about how I could really augment that opportunity in new ways because of everything that I was learning about education over the past year. Mm-hmm. And I'm 100% confident if I didn't take this stepping stone to this education management position for a year, I wouldn't have had the confidence to make the move that I then did to be in the role I'm in today for the past 5 months in career services at the university, if I hadn't taken this step, because it helped me learn more about the education industry. I got more confidence in the challenges in the education industry. I built new clients outside of the insurance industry that could be of value in my role now. Mm-hmm. So I needed this stepping stone to really give me the confidence that I could be successful in the role that I'm in now.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I love how that evolved. And you were very conscious the whole time. You weren't just sitting there saying, okay, head down, I'm doing the task, I'm just going to plug away at this job, I guess this is it. The whole time you were saying, all right, so, well, and we would talk about this because we would have a call now and then and we'd say, okay, so how well are your skills aligning? What is fulfilling to you? What is not? And you were able to sift through that contrast and say, okay, what I want more of is the people. I want even more impact in that space. And I want to get even closer to education and directly providing those services to the populations that really interest me. And so tell us about how you actually got that job, right? Because to go from insurance and then to a client relationship director to go actually into career services, and you're in the graduate career services, is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Graduate career services, when you've never had any experience working in any university career services other than your adjunct teaching role, how did you open that door there and be able to create visibility with them as the best candidate?
So getting clear yet again helped, and really evaluating this is what I know I want next. I have this whole new set of skills and dimension that I bring to this opportunity that I'm the girl for the job. Like I just knew it. So I knew that there would be a position coming up in the next few months. So I was kind of aware of that hidden job market, that that position would be coming up from the network I had built over the years. And I had enough of an in with the career development course I was teaching that, and being an alum of the university, that I realized, you know, I could step up here. I could participate in more, and it would be appropriate. So I would start to just offer up, you know, I noticed you have an event coming up next month in your college admissions, in your university admissions. And if you'd like someone from Bentley University who graduated from there to talk to those interested in the university, I'd be happy to. So I offered up just kind of getting more face time at the university, and also participated in another event, their talent acquisition event, and just wanted to meet the students. So got a sense of the graduate students, and just offered my time for a few hours one night and just spent some time with the students, got to meet some of the other directors in the role, and also helped me realize, wow, this is what I want. So it was a total win-win. I was trying to network and get more access to what might be out there, but I also was solidifying for myself, wow, this would be awesome. This is what I want. This is so exciting. So I spent time while I was still in my current job, just tiptoeing forward and just making my mark, so that when that position eventually became posted, I would be strongly considered. So really took the time to do more outside of my full-time job to solidify that before the position became posted.
Yes. So that's exactly it, guys. You see the difference? Laura didn't say, oh, well, that I think would be nice, but there's no positions open. So I guess, you know, I guess I don't know what to do. She didn't care. She said, all right, well, who do I know there? Who can I talk to? Who can I continue to build a relationship with over time? What kinds of questions should I ask? How would I talk about myself? She showed up at events. She didn't even work there, and she showed up. That kind of visibility, that persistence, dedication, being able to speak to the value she could bring to the table, it was a no-brainer that Laura was going to be at least one of the top candidates that they for sure are going to interview for this. It was ball in her court at that point. And tell us about what you do now.
So now I work at Graduate Career Services at this university, and I work with students that are focused in different technology sectors. So I work with analysts, I work with potential developers once they graduate with their degree as well, and help coach them and support them in their career journey. I put on events for them, so I might connect with alumni and put on exciting events so that they learn more about industries they might be interested in. So it's all about relationship building, but all about the relationships that I really am very genuine about developing. And it's just so fun. It's just so much fun. So I'm beyond excited every day when I go to work. I feel fulfilled on the weekends. I feel fulfilled when I get home and I'm with my kids and I tell them about my day, and they think it's so cool. And it creates so much mental balance for me. That I feel like I'm the best mom and wife that I've been in a long time, just because I feel more at peace with myself. Like I'm doing the work I'm meant to do, and I'm proud of myself. You know, it's one of those feelings of like, I now am like living the advice I would tell my friends. Like, if you want to make a change, make a change. And like, now I can be honest with myself and say, and I did it too. And that feels just really fulfilling and really good. And even part of this journey is something like the students I work with at the university, like I tell them this similar story, and it feels so good to tell them this story because I work with students who now are considering going back to school, acquiring new skills and getting a new degree to pursue something entirely different. And it's so much fun to then have had this transformation to talk with them about, so that they know they're not alone either. So it's incredibly fulfilling and fun.
Yes. Oh, I love that. And see, guys, this is what I mean when I tell you, okay, how my clients go to find that career that they love and wake up with energy to do the work in the morning. Go to it. This is not a myth, guys. This is not stuff that I'm making up. Laura is exactly proof, and that's what I want to show you, is you can have this. If you doubt it, you're the only one standing in your way, you and your fear. Okay, so this is completely possible. You just have to make that choice that you want it. So it sounds like your life has just changed in so many ways that you have this energy. Your health isn't a question anymore. You have that balance. And like you said, you feel like you're the best mother and wife that you've been in a long time, and you're happy. And that's worth probably a whole heck of a lot. And tell us too, because I know a lot of people think about this. Oh, well, if I change industry, I'm going to have to take a huge pay cut. Tell me about how you considered pay changes as you went to these different industries, and how you reconcile that.
Yeah. So when I left the insurance industry, that was probably the biggest impediment to move. I was very frightened by that. I had 2 kids. My husband was like, Laura, you're doing great. You're set to make even more money. And it was definitely something that was a top concern for me for many years. And then I had 2 kids, and I was like, okay, now I really can't move. And I would feel very stuck. So I had to be strategic and thoughtful, which is why in the role where I transferred my skills into the other education management position and client relations, I contemplated the base salary was less than what I had, but the bonus potential was strong. So I knew that, okay, my base would be less, but you know what? I'm going to knock it out of the park. I'm going to be energized. I'm going to do all the right things. And I'm going to have that potential. And I made up my mind that potential is going to be there for me. So I'm going to knock it out of the park and meet that. And then really have the same salary I had been leaving in the industry. And that did happen. I did end up getting a nice bonus. I was in a really good place. So I said, okay, this is good timing. And this worked out great. And then I had a shift in my personal life with my daughters, where I was going from 2 in childcare to 1. So suddenly I had 1 less expensive childcare, and I realized, okay, that fear of moving to higher education, which is known to pay less than an insurance position, could be real now. I had gotten used to the adjustment I made this past year, and I said, okay, now we have 1 less expense in the family. I think my husband will feel more comfortable about this too, because it was obviously a family decision for me to really make these changes. So I needed him on board as well. So then, yes, I did have to take a pay cut going into higher education. But 2 things I had going for me. One, as I said, we had 1 less expense personally, but I also had been getting more experience that past year in that stepping stone I was telling everybody about. And that stepping stone provided more value to the industry than I would have offered out of the insurance industry. So I was able to argue a higher salary and had a higher position than I believe I would have had if I was coming from the insurance industry. So I still felt like it was a strong salary. It's certainly something I could still improve with over time, but it was much stronger than the fear I had years ago. If I'd come in at true entry level, and I came in at a senior level. So that really made a difference.
Yeah, that's great to share, because a lot of people have that fear is, oh, I'm going to have to take a pay cut. I'm going to have to start over. And that's simply not true. You look at the potential, you decide what it is you want, and you make the adjustments in life, which is completely possible to do in different areas. And now it's not like you said, oh, I'm making only 50% what I did and it's horrible. You're still making a good salary, like you said. You leverage your last position that you had so you could come in higher. You've got potential where you are now, and you're happy. You're actually happy and present with your family. So it sounds like everything has really balanced out so well for you.
Yeah, really couldn't be happier. And the changes we made, to your point, it's funny how you adapt. So as a family, we're not doing anything substantially different with a slightly lower salary than I had prior year. It's just, you just adapt. You're like, oh, okay. So I'm not going to go on a frivolous shopping spree this weekend. It's these little things. It's not the big things that matter. It's not, paying the mortgage. It's just not the big stuff. It's just these little things that you think about. Like, yeah, I guess I don't need to do that. And it's provided no turbulence for my husband and me, no turbulence for my kids. So you realize that, gosh, why was I so concerned about that? And now that I'm in this place after any of that potential stress that it could have put on the family, or you feared that whole time, you realize it's all good. It's all good.
Yes. And it opens up that path to so much more. I know our paths are kind of similar in that I left insurance also, and I went to higher education, and I did take a pay cut for that. But the trajectory that I've taken from there, that's been 10 times what I would have been able to accomplish, I think, financially and fulfillment wise, if I had stayed plugging along in corporate because that's what I was told to do. So taking that step that truly aligns with who you are, it just opens doors and it frees up power for all the abundance you really want to create in your life. So that's awesome. So tell us, why was, well, I think we pretty much covered this, but I'll merge the questions together. Tell me about, with this in mind, why was coaching worth this investment for you? And with that in mind, what advice do you have for people who are struggling in the same situation and wondering if they should get help?
So working with you felt like really investing in myself and committing to myself to make a change. And without that commitment to yourself, I think it's really, really hard, and you need someone unbiased. So that was really the impact that working with you had. And not only are you like so lovely to work with, and I'm like, I wish you lived close, we could be buddies. You know, you're just so easy to work with and so encouraging. And I knew if I was ever upset or down one day, you know, you would help me see a perspective. And you just have such a great approach that our work together really, I mean, even my husband would say, oh, you know, well, what does Stacy think? You know, in every decision I was making, you know, you became like part of our family to help make those unbiased and thoughtful decisions, where I just didn't feel like I was alone sometimes in doing that. And as much as I had my husband's help, it's just, again, he was biased. So sometimes it did feel a little alone, like I was just doing this internal battle. So I didn't have to be that feeling anymore when I was working with you. So you just helped like take that weight off. So that, you know, that cost in itself, like health is wealth, hands down. So to me, it wasn't a cost anymore. It was just an investment in myself. So I think what that kind of segues into as far as advice is really one of my favorite quotes. And I know, Stacy, you know this quote because I've shared it with you. One of my favorite Eleanor Roosevelt quotes: whether you think you can or can't, you're right. Mm-hmm. And I think there's so much truth in just knowing you can. And when you know you can, you will. Yeah. You just need the right kind of boost and support to get you there. And for me, that was working with you, Stacy. You know, I had been saying, you know, I can't leave an industry that I've have my whole network in. I'm getting paid well. I have everything going on the surface or superficially. So I can't do anything, can't go anywhere. And yeah, I was right. I wasn't going anywhere. But once I made my mind up and said, no, I can, I just need some help. I need some support. I was right. And I moved out of the industry, you know, 2 times into a place that I'm just feels right. Finally, you know, took a little bit of time, took some trial and error, took a process, but I'm on the other side of it. So it's feels good to be on the side of the equation now.
Yeah, we didn't just fix your resume and pick something off a list, but what we gave you and how you transformed, you're going to use that for the rest of your life. And you still got maybe 30 more years. So you're going to keep using this over and over again. And you're not going to wake up one day like you were feeling before, stuck, trapped, I don't know what to do. You do know, and you're in the driver's seat. And that's got to just feel so confident and empowering knowing that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I can't thank you enough, because if I didn't do the work I did with you, I know I would still be in the insurance industry. It was too hard, felt too stuck. So I'm just so grateful for our work together.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Laura, for sharing your story. I just know it's going to be so inspiring to all of you who are going to watch this. Laura is awesome, and she is a perfect example of what you can do too, that this is possible. And especially now as we're looking at 2019, going into this new year in front of us, stop making excuses. Let this be your year to go get what you deserve, to fix it now and for the rest of your life. Okay, that's what we want for you. Thank you, Laura, so much for sharing. I love you so much. And I know that we will always continue to be in touch. And I'm grateful, very grateful for you sharing your story with everyone.
Thank you. And good luck to everybody out there. Kill it in 2019. You got it.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.